I think everyone can agree with me when I say we all had our childhood obsessions, whether it be video games, toys, sports, TV shows, or anything else. But for my 6-year-old weeb and loser self, it was a game called Elsword. Oh my! Leave me alone! Holy... Now, what is Elsword, you may ask? Well, to simply put it, it is an MMORPG with this really cool aesthetic of a 3D world in a 2D perspective, and it has an array of characters who themselves have different classes of their own which you can pick. Anyways, I remember this game being really fun and being top tier, but that was when I had a heavily underdeveloped frontal lobe that thought that Naruto running made me faster. Spoiler alert, it doesn't make you faster. So how about you join me as I take a trip down memory lane and see if this game is as good as I remember it or if it's just nostalgia. So as I launched the game and saw that login screen, I had a sudden realization that I am still using the same email that I did back then. Meaning, if I still remember the password, which I did, I could log back into my old account. And just like that, we're in, boys! I can't wait to see all my characters. Oh yeah, I forgot that I deleted all of my characters for no reason. Well, we still have one character. How about we check him out? Never mind, this character sucks. How about we put that in the past where it should be and make a new character? So for this game, it gives you a vast selection of characters to pick, and since my sister watches my videos, just in spite of her, I'm going to use her favorite character. Anyway, we get into the game and firstly we get a character backstory and then get into the actual game where the story has nothing to do with our character. I never realized this as a child because I didn't pay attention to the story, but the story does not include us at all. For being an RPG game, there's not much RPGing to do here. The story just follows Elsword, Aisha, and Rena and doesn't include the character we chose at all, which is a confusing way to do things. But despite that, the world building in this game is actually really good and you can't deny that the visuals are amazing. So the main purpose of the first part of the story is that we have to retrieve this gem called the L, which powers and stabilizes the hometown of our characters as it was stolen by someone. Also, the L is like a smaller piece from a bigger L, but I don't really want to get into the story right now. So yeah, just know that big L exploded and now there's multiple smaller L's spread across the world. Anyway, we talk to the locals of this place and we chase down the L by going to this dungeon to fight the bandit who stole it. One thing I love about this game even to this day is the dungeons and the combat. Although the optimization of the game could be better, the combat is so smooth and you feel like you're in control of everything. And even if it seems like I'm button mashing most of the time, I'm actually using certain combos for different situations, and this gets better and better as you unlock more and more skills and combos, which I love. So the bandit gets away and we return to the town where we talk and discuss on the next action. Alright, so I won't bore you guys with the story and I'll just simply move on to a different section and just fill you in quickly, as I mainly just want to talk about my experience with this game. So one thing I hate about this game is the fact that during a quest, we get the dialogues and everything, which I understand, but we have to manually go to an NPC and talk to them and then exit that conversation because talking to that NPC doesn't activate a scene for some reason, and in order to continue the story, we have to manually press the complete button on the quest. Why is there a need to add that extra step? Couldn't you just add that person into the dialogue without having us talk to the person, or maybe make it so that when we talk to the NPC, it triggers the continuation of the story? No wonder why I was so confused when I played this as a child. There are way too many steps. Anyway, the first part of the story finishes and we move on to a different city where they have a literal robot as their king. Is no one gonna question that? The citizens talk about the king being weird with his decision making, but did it never occur to them why that may be? Anyways, So here the king is a thing called an acid, which is basically a robot species, but the ones that are shown here aren't actually true Nacids, but yada yada yada, he's a bad guy and he was the one who ordered bandits to steal things from his own kingdom, as well as the L that we were trying to retrieve. Anyway, he escapes. How many times are we gonna let these villains escape? Like, holy... But we move on to a different region to find a cave. And on our way, we get blocked because the road to the cave, which is owned by this guy, who's my new favorite character by the way,
Genius, gorgeous.
was blocked by these lizard folks who were mind controlled. And just like how I remembered it as a child, these lizards are tanky as heck. And not only that, even to this day, I hate these face-hugging bats. Like, what am I supposed to do? Oh my! Anyway, I gotta say again though, so far the world building is really good, and although the story is kind of a lot to take in because of the abundance of dialogue, it's actually pretty good and I was invested in it. But I truly am sad at how they wasted such a good story with a terrible delivery method. Also, during this part, I also did my character ascension quest and got my character Elsword to her first promotion. Wait, where's my outfit? Oh wait, never mind, it was just in the mail. Wait, why is there a time limit on this? Okay, so you're telling me that even to this day, after so many years, they still haven't changed this? Why are the promotional outfits limited? This is so dumb. Can't I just enjoy my emo character as is? The whole reason I even picked her was because of her design. And now you're robbing me of the single reason why I'm playing her. What's the point? Anyway, I do unlock a few new combos, which were actually really cool and I used them a lot. Like this one for example, it literally just dashes behind them and just sticks the sword inside of them. Pause. And check out the second one, she literally shoots her mana like an SMG. And also I realized later that we can just equip and unequip the skills, which I completely forgot about. Look, it's been like 6 to 8 years, my brain forgot everything, okay? Give me a break. Also, check out these new skills. They're so cool, but not only that, they're extremely useful for different situations. Also, during this time, I found out about the item shop, and yeah, this game is pretty pay to win. But hey, at least they added a pay limit. Props to you, I guess. But it is definitely a questionable approach to give cosmetics buffs. And as I played more and more through the dungeons, I started to realize that this game might just be as good as I remembered it. I'll say it again, the combat in this game is extremely balanced, but unlike your average MMORPG, the game isn't that reliant on skills and I think that's what makes it really fun. There are skills required to play this game, but it's just the right amount where it's challenging enough but not overwhelmingly challenging. The monsters are pretty tanky, and even though the bosses are surprisingly easier than most of the normal enemies because of how squishy they are, the different types of mechanics to fight these bosses are extremely fun, especially as we head into the robot area where we also find our boy Raven. And I'm not joking when I say I did the exact same finger wiggle as him. I fought him way too many times in the past to forget that iconic finger wiggle. Anyways, he got mind controlled, so we save him and then he joins our team. But after this comes the two best bosses so far, Plantera and Scaramouche. Although I annihilated them both using my overpowered skills, they both had a really cool boss mechanic, but I just wish they were a little harder though. We also meet another character who is the queen of the robot race, but after that we go back to our village to place the L back and we go to another village to fight some demons, and my character also got promoted again into this even more badass design. But I think it's best if we end it here. Also during this time there was a musical event going on and look at these gorgeous designs, oh my lord. Anyway, I tried playing some of the event games and it was genuinely really fun. For a game that's been around for as long as I've lived, it gives pretty good content to its remaining player base. Now, how do I feel about this game after so many years of departure? Well, firstly, the story was good, but I didn't feel that engaged in it. It was kind of boring as it didn't include us into the story at all, and it was more like reading a book, which isn't bad per se, but we have to remember that this is an RPG game and there isn't much role playing there in the story. However, the story by itself is really good and it explains the world well, and the world building is great. However, another thing is that the character backstories are terrible because it's just a bunch of text with no voiceovers or pictures, and it's just that, nothing more. I was literally staring into the void, which was really disappointing because I felt that Elsa's story could have been really good. Also, one thing to note about this game is that even if you switch off the Korean voice acting, the actual story will still be in Korean and not in English, which is weird because all the NPCs and characters speak English outside of the story.
Welcome to the gates of the training zone.
But besides that, everything else seems to be quite great. The combat was just as good as I remembered it, the abilities and variety of bosses was great, the dungeons felt perfectly balanced in terms of its difficulty, and I had a really fun time seeing all the things I remembered so fondly. As an action game, it does its job. It is perfect and I'd highly recommend that you try it out yourself. But as a story game, it isn't that great and I wouldn't be against people just skipping through the entire story. All in all, I really enjoyed playing this game again, and I'd most definitely play it again whether on stream or off stream. It's just the perfect game to play when you just want to chill but still want some action. And as for the cosmetics, yeah, this game is pretty pay to win. I still remember all those shiny players back in the day splurging their money for cosmetics because they have stats for some reason, which I still can't wrap my head around. So, this game gets a 7 out of 10. Anyways, bye.